Hey guys, welcome back to R&D Garage. As always, thanks for liking and subscribing. Today we are doing front brakes on my '08 Toyota FJ Cruiser. Now my rotors look pretty good here, but my pads are done. It's always a good idea to do both the rotors and the pads at the same time. That way you're kind of getting off to a nice fresh start. You don't have to take them apart again to replace one part or the other, and it's kind of the best option to take. Now I'm going to take off the spacer and begin the job. Oops. Okay. Yep, there it is. Perfect. Okay, all the bolts are off. So, oh, there we go. Sometimes you have to kind of hammer at it, but this is great. Gonna set it aside. Always want to put all the nuts in the middle so you know where they are. Now we're going to go ahead and disconnect the ABS line from the bracket. And that's just right back here. And it's with two tabs. You may have to use a pair of tweezers. There we go. Now that that's done, I'm going to take off this bracket that's connecting the brake line to the knuckle. And the nut is right here. Perfect. Okay, so that just pushes back. We're gonna change camera views so you can see what's actually going on back here. And when we come back, I'll show you more. Now we're ready to take off the caliper. Before you take this guy off, you're going to need to hang it up. So here I've got a hook and I'm hanging it on the frame as such. And now we're ready to begin. So the two bolts we'll be taking off, one is right here, and the other one is right here. There we go. And these can be a little bit tricky to take off. There's one. Oof, there we go. There's the second one. So now let's be careful. And this should just, there we go, perfect. And I'm gonna hang it up right inside there. Perfect. Whew. Okay, now we're ready to take off the rotor. Before we do that, we're gonna change up camera angles and I'll be right back. So we got lucky with this rotor here. It was pretty easy to come off. Sometimes they will be frozen. And when that happens, I'm going to give you a couple options to choose from. The first one, you can use a recoilless hammer and just go ahead and lightly tap from behind. If that doesn't work, choose a bolt that will fit in one of the two threaded holes. By inserting it with your impact wrench, you'll basically be pulling the rotor out. So that's a great option to do too. Okay, I guess someone's arrived. Not our guest, don't worry about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this rotor off. Get that position here. There we go. Okay, we've set that aside. Now we're ready to move on. Hey guys, before we place the new rotor back on, I'm going to show you how to take out the old pads. Now, just for visual effect, I hung the caliper on the backing plate with no rotor whatsoever, so it looks weird. Okay, so before you start, take a look at it. Remember the orientation, because this is exactly how it's going to go back on. What we're going to do here is pull out these two pins, 1 and 2, and then these two guys, and the spring here as well. So I'm going to show you what to do. Pulling this out first. And it should come straight out. Oops. It should. Sometimes it doesn't. There we go. There's 1. 2. Okay. Now this spring's a little tricky. You can go ahead and just kind of push it in. Oops. Oh, boy. Hello. There we go. See, when that end pops out of there, that's when you know you're on the right track. And we'll do the same thing on the other end. Kind of push it out of the way here. Perfect. Now, and this. It's out. And this. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Yay, and the spring comes out as well. Now we're going to pull out the two pads. There's number 1, number 2, and we'll be right back and I'll show you what to do next. Hey guys, so I've got my lane piston spreader into place on the caliper here, and what we're going to do is ratchet it until all 4 pistons are retracted back into the caliper. Before you start this, go ahead and check the level on your master cylinder. If it's a little too high, it may overflow. You can take care of that by using a turkey baster or just a turkey baster. Borrow it from your wife. Okay, here we go. And it'll feel a little spongy, but that's normal. And you can see it's starting to squeeze in or retract. And I think we're good. It won't retract anymore. So we're going to go ahead, figure out a different view, and continue on.